Hey, welcome back. I have another preview review. I didn't think I'd have one 2 days in a row, but they do have more Horus Heresy pre-orders that have been announced for next week. And that's pretty cool. It does seem like it's basically everything but the Predator that we've seen so far. Just basically all going to be coming out for pre-order next week, plus some... The hell did I do? Hey, welcome back. I have another video, and this time here is just another preview review, which I didn't expect to be doing 2 days in a row, but GW put out some more Horus Heresy pre-orders, so I decided that I may as well talk about these too, because this one's way more exciting than just some digital books, and I thought the digital books were good. But this is like pretty much all the plastic kits we've been waiting for. So, yeah, right off the bat, Sycoran, however you say it. It doesn't have all the options Forge World offers. It just only has this auto cannon array thing, which, as they say, it's eye-catching. I do agree. This is the coolest looking of them all. Like, this really is just, I like this model. And as a battlefield role, I see this kind of working really well in a lot of ways. I mean, this here is anti-infantry. It's anti-tank. Mixing up your sponsons will definitely go a long way to helping both of those roles. So I'm pretty happy with the way this one here looks and what they're offering. I think it's fine. I don't think I'll get it for my Night Lords. I do plan to do an Imperial army using my Vostroyans. Just because there is a picture in the rule book that shows some Vostroyan looking dudes being Imperial army, so I figured, why not? I don't need 3 guard armies for 40k specifically, so I will do that, I think. Yeah, I think if I do that, though, I'll grab some extra Marines and do a small detachment of, like an allied detachment of some loyalist chapter. I don't know which one yet, but I'm thinking about that, how to do that, which one I'd want, and I would probably get this for them. Mainly since with Night Lords, you don't need that many heavy support choices, just because when you use your murder, what's it called, terror assault, you really do have pretty much only one heavy support choice, meaning the Leviathans are kind of the best option, where you can get 3 with a really good mix of weapons. So yeah, Night Lords, not sure. Allied, loyalist Marines, definitely yes. Spartan assault tank, I don't need another one. Just gonna straight up say this is not a model kit for me. I own 1. I don't see the need to own more than 1, but I'm sure all this stuff is going to wind up in 40k, like the Kratos already did, meaning this is going to be really popular for 40k players. You can put 10 las cannons on this thing. Because 9th doesn't have twin length, you just get, 1 shot per barrel. 10 las cannons is going to be a brutal tank to deal with. If it still also has 26 transport capacity, I don't think that'll be a thing in 40k, but if it is a thing they do, that's a wild tank. Being able to put like 10 Terminators and like a couple of characters in Terminator armor inside this thing, I really feel like that is a Death Star unit, like that we would have dreamed of back in like 6th edition when that was all the rage. So not for me, but I definitely think this is going to be a popular tank if they put out those 40k rules. It's a cool kit. I mean, it was actually really nice to build, despite being a giant tank, and I don't really like building tanks. This one wasn't too bad. Then we've got the Contempter Dreadnought. This guy here, he's got all the weapons. It sounds like, from what I'm reading, you get double of everything. So that's really cool, having all these options and being able to double up on them is pretty neat. And I can definitely see getting one of these just to basically have the option to change up the contemptors I currently have, I could definitely, like, you know, having double melta on that, the Calth one I built, he has a melta thing and a fist. Just going with double melta might be nice, or having, you know, double las cannon type setup, whatever you kind of go with there. I mean, there's a lot of good options anyways, and I think 3 of them is really a good unit. Dreadnoughts are, as everybody knows who's been playing, really good in this edition of Horus Heresy. Frankly, I've been playing 40k since 3rd edition. This is the first time I have ever used walkers and been absolutely happy with them in every way. They work really well in pretty much every role you give them. I haven't had a complaint yet with these contemptors, and the Leviathan looks to be the same deal. Like, they're just so good. So this is a really welcome addition. Being able to get these, maybe do that Rite of War, the something about the Ancients, where you can just run dreadnoughts. I do think that's going to be a bit of a kind of a cheesy list, but I think a lot of people still want to try it because the dreadnoughts look cool in this edition. And having, like, you know, 6 of these and 3 Leviathans and make an army out of that, that'd be pretty cool looking. I think there's also possibly a way to make a character dreadnought too with that Rite of War. So something to look at. I mean, once you have this, if you have a bunch of these, maybe running Rite of War could be cool. Yeah, these are nice sprues. And then we get the Siege Dreadnought, the Leviathan Siege Dreadnought with the ranged weapons. I've already got 2 with the siege weapons, and I haven't decided how I'm going to build my second one yet. The first one, I went with 2 sets of siege claws. I do want that. Like, that's a lot of attacks. I think he goes up to 6 attacks at that point. And that's pretty nice, you know, on the guy with that kind of, you know, strength 10 AP2. You could tear a lot of stuff up with that. Don't know what they did there. Anyways, I think the second guy that I have, I just want to give him a siege drill and this Melta Lance thing, just because I think that's a good mix. Close range anti-tank plus medium short range anti-tank. I think just gonna kind of give him one job, stick to it, and that's probably going to be a good way to use him. And then having one that has 2 of these might be fun too, just to add some pretty good ranged shooting to the unit. Like I said, where I play Night Lords, and if I take Terror Assault, I only get 1 heavy support, and being able to put 3 Leviathans, which are really hard to kill. These things are going to be hard to shift, regardless of what they bring. It's going to take a lot of dedicated shooting to get rid of them. And having a good mix of ranged and close combat weapons to just get them across the field as quick as possible. Especially if I have some Contemptors or big units of Terminators that also are going to take a lot of killing. I think that's a really good way to use them, but we'll see. Anyways, I definitely need at least 1 more just to get the weapons here, because I love these Leviathans. These are nice models. The one I've built so far, I'm going to chop him up a little bit. Not chop him, but like kind of like loosen his knee joints. I want to reposition him. I don't like his pose I came up with. So I'm going to muck about with that and try to repose him a bit, but we'll see how that goes. Shouldn't be too hard. Then the cataphractii squads are coming. Personally, I have 15. I don't need any more, but cataphractii are really good. That 2+, 4+, that really makes them super durable. Excuse me. In both the games I've used them, they are really hard to shift off of basically anything. I mean, the last game I played, they assaulted a building that had troops inside it holding an objective, and between all the attacks they get and how tough they are, they just basically walk through like a dozen Marines with really very little difficulty. I think maybe I took a wound. So these are good units. And if you have 10, having 20 is probably not a bad idea. I mean, there's always that Terminator Rite of War that makes them troops. And for Night Lords, if you take Sevatar, Terminators get to deep strike. So you could take them as your troop choice, or as a troop choice. They get line, and then they could be deep striking. And sure, they won't come in first turn like the deep strike assault Rite of War, but you had like 3 units of Terminators that were coming down. Probably you'll get 1 or 2 on turn 2. And having these guys show up like in your face, I think would be a kind of a lot of an issue. It'd be a big issue to deal with. Because you also now have these guys coming too. These are the ones I want, the Tartaros. Because these guys can sweeping advance. The Terminators up top, they're the cataphractii. They can't. They're really great at just removing enemies and not taking damage. These guys are only a 2+5+, but it's still a 2+5+, and they get to sweeping advance. Set these guys up with power claws and things like that, and they can probably tear up infantry squads, 20-man Legion units, and just run down what's left. So these guys I want. I might even want 2 boxes, so I can try to turn some into Contakar, because I don't want to pay $150 for 5 Contakar. But yeah, Tartaros, they look pretty neat, and I just want to add to my Terminator selection. I have, like I said, 15. Having 20 more would really let me consider that Rite of War. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know if I'll order them all right away, but I probably will be pre-ordering 1 box of these guys. The Praetors are going to be out. Are they going to be together? I never even thought to check. Yeah, it seems like they're going to come in a box of 2, just like the last Praetors did. So that's pretty neat. These are great models too. At this point here, I do assume everybody has a starter box, but if you don't and you haven't found some of these things cheap, this will definitely be a unit you want to grab. I think they're so nice in every way, and the small amount of details you might have to remove on some of them, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, very cool models, and I look forward to seeing what else they put out for units. This is all the units now, I believe. Yeah, because now we're into like Iron Warrior upgrades. I'm not sold on these. I said this in my video yesterday. Shoulder pads and heads being separate at $30 a piece Canadian. I'm not paying that. Like I said, put 3 squads worth in a box and charge me $53 like you do those special and heavy weapons. I'll buy that. I don't find that big of a deal. I was buying $20 Night Lord upgrade packs back from my my old Night Lord army when they were selling the pewter blisters, and it was all in one package. I mean, you got the heads and the shoulder pads and a sword arm, I believe, and it was like 20, maybe $25, depending on what the price was at that time. And at least it was one whole squad's worth. $30, and you're only gonna have to pick one. Are you gonna get shoulder pads and use regular helmets, or are you gonna get heads and use regular shoulder pads? I want both. I think my Night Lords, the way I've done them with the mix of helmets and shoulder pads, it's fine to leave some of the helmets on, but I want the options. Give me as many bits as possible at a good price. This just seems like too much for me, and I'm going to keep saying that. Age of Darkness Armatures, this is, I know, a night thing. I assume that's to go with this book here, because this is also coming. If you haven't seen that, I will be buying a digital copy for now. I don't think I need a big one, and frankly, I'm a little concerned about the quality of these books. I did get a response from Games Workshop about mine, It was not the response I was expecting. I'm going to wait for further responses to my reply back. Oops. Yeah. So I'm a little concerned about buying more of these. And honestly, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm not starting a liber. I'm not starting a Mechanicum army. But I do have some Mechanicum stuff. Like, I have a very small amount. 2 or 3 squads and a vehicle and a character kind of thing. Like, that could be a good start to a allied force. So I'm going to probably grab this. I think this is a reasonable purchase for me to get one of these in digital. Not the hardcover. Too big. Don't trust the quality, and I don't need to spend $80 or $90, whatever it is, I forget, on a book for an allied contingent. And that's where I figured these guys are. Because I didn't see these anywhere in the books that I have. It just looks like it's the regular ones with a different, like, transfer sheet. They're pretty cool looking, though. I've never seen one of these in person, but I don't play a lot of 40k anymore, so that's probably all it is. But these look neat. And I'll just go through this, some bonus content. Warhammer Underworlds. These are cool models. I think these are, at least some of them look like they're from one of the box sets. I like the dogs. I almost want to buy this just for the dogs and maybe that guy and use them in my I kind of want to do a 3rd edition Demon Hunters list and do an Inquisitor and some Grey Knights with some allied Marines or Guard or something. I think this would be a cool Inquisitor. And these guys would make cool henchmen. And the dogs are cool. I mean, dog models are always cool. Blood Bowl is a pitch set and some dice. I don't play this edition of Blood Bowl for no reason other than just my group stopped playing Blood Bowl. So my stuff's all kind of just waiting for the day that they get called back onto the pitch. At some point I'll play again. But no real interest for me here right now, but it's still cool to see that they are supporting Blood Bowl. I love seeing the specialist games getting, that's my kid in the background, I don't know what he's doing. And then a bunch of Middle-earth stuff. This Glorfindel, however you say it, that's a really cool model. I look at the Middle-earth stuff and I'm always excited because I keep looking at the way they're handling it and saying, if you just do this, exactly this for Warhammer the Old World, I'm going to be happy. Get me a new rulebook, get me some updated army lists, and just sell me old models while you make new ones. I will be fine with that. I will buy old models. I've been told by certain people watching my channel that no one's going to buy old models. I disagree. You're welcome to your opinion, and if you don't like old models, that's completely fair. Some of them are goofy as shit looking, and I can totally get not wanting to look at them. Oh my god, all the noise is happening. But they're classic. Give me this for fantasy, for sure. But I'm also fine with buying the old stuff. These guys are nice. I actually think the pewters are better. The pewters that came out like 20 years ago, I think are better than this. I don't know what it is. I think they feel really tall. And that's not a bad thing. I think it's just because everything in Lord of the Rings feels so short. I need to see these guys next to actual, like, existing Lord of the Rings minis just to see how tall they are. But the sculpts are really nice. Although I don't know why they don't have bows. Maybe there's just an option in there. They'll have bows in the box or something. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Anyways, I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to keep going. I will probably do a video talking about this new Lord of the Rings stuff we've heard of today, just because I do, again, feel like Lord of the Rings is a really good way to look at what GW is doing with an older IP and game in a modern way, if we want to think about how they're going to handle Old World. So I will get to that stuff, and I'll do a video on that later. Anyways, thanks for watching. This was longer than I thought it was going to be, but there was a lot of stuff in this one. I was shocked how much stuff they revealed today. I didn't expect all of this to come at once. And if you're excited about those Horus Heresy pieces, whether you want to use them for 40k or Horus Heresy, let me know in the comments, and let me know what you plan to grab. Because now we have the the army books are coming in digital, all these plastic kits, Mechanicum is coming. I have nothing to say about that right now because I don't know what Mechanicum is like in Horus Heresy. I've done absolutely no research into them. I'm focusing on my Marines. So if there's something cool in there I should be looking into, please let me know in the comments, because Mechanicum look cool, but I don't have a lot of them, and I don't want to start a big new force of Mechanicum. But at the same time, if there's something super cool I don't know about and I should know about, I kind of want to know. So anyways, thanks very much for watching, and have a great day.